Hey, welcome. This is Coach Cody, your virtual school wellness teacher. Let's talk for a few moments about the spring semester. Some of the things you learned. You learned about sportsmanship. You learned that sportsmanship isn't just for athletes. Sportsmanship is for everybody. Sportsmanship is about being a part of a team. No matter what career path you choose, you're probably going to have to work alongside someone else. If you learn the valuable skills that you should have learned in this module, they're probably going to take you a long way with dealing with people. You've got to learn how to communicate, how to solve conflicts. Believe it or not, you're going to be engaged with people that are not like you every single day. And if you know how to deal with people, how to be honorable, how to have integrity, how to communicate. We learned about I statements. An I statement is when you state something using I versus you. For instance, I could say, "You're always late. You need to be on time." Now that statement may cause resistance, rebellion. It may cause further the situation to further escalate. However, I could say the same thing, but with an I statement. "I would really like it if you tried harder to be on time." You see, I said the same thing, but I said it in a way that was not so threatening, not so forceful, not so convicting, but at the same time, they got the message. Learning how to communicate is a very valuable skill. Not everyone possesses this skill, and those who are most successful generally know how to deal with people. So sportsmanship is a very valuable skill to have, very valuable trait to possess. Okay, we move from there to nutrition. Now I'm gonna be honest, nutrition was my favorite module. I love learning about foods and what we eat and how it affects our body. What you put inside of your body is critical to how long your body will last and how great your body will function. It's critical. Food to your body is like gas for a car. And if you put bad gas in a car, the car is going to sputter and pop and make all this noise. If you put bad food into your body, you put a lot of junk food, which you are what you eat. You've heard that before. You put in all this junk food in your body, you're going to eventually feel your body start to sputter. That's why you feel all this energy and then all of a sudden you crash. You crash because you don't have the proper nutrients. We learned about nutrients and vitamins. We learned about proteins, fats, carbohydrates. Two types of fats we learned about: saturated, unsaturated. Two types of carbohydrates: simple, complex. Simple carbs are your sugars. Complex carbs are your starches. We learned about protein. You got incomplete, you've got complete. Complete proteins are the ones that have all the essential amino acids, whereas incomplete are some that are missing some of the amino acids. Now you can take, for a person, we generally get our protein from meat. But if you're a vegetarian and you don't eat meat, does that mean you can't get all the protein you need? No. You have to be a little bit more creative with putting your foods together to make sure you get complete protein. Make sure you eat, because you can get protein in beans, you can get protein in eggs, you can get protein in other areas that you may not consider or may not have thought about. Protein comes from that, okay? We learned about, when it comes to nutrition, that fad diets are not the answer. Going with the new hip way to lose weight is not the answer. And when we talked about losing weight, we found out we don't mean losing just pounds. We mean losing fat. We want to lose body fat. We don't just want to lose weight. We don't want to lose muscle mass. We want to lose body fat. In the beginning of this module, you did a fitness test, which comprised of 4 different things. 1 was your push-up test. 2, your sit and reach. 3, your mile run. And 4, your BMI. Now, the BMI is a very good tool to kind of gauge, to kind of guesstimate, to kind of kind of show you where you are on the scale of being obese, overweight, normal, or underweight. Something to never forget. Being underweight is just as dangerous as being overweight. All right? The problem with the BMI, it is not totally accurate. And the reason I say that is muscle weighs more than fat. And let's say you're an athlete and you work out all the time and you're very muscular, but you're short. Your numbers may come back from the BMI and say you're overweight. When you look in the mirror and you love what you see. There's no way I'm overweight. I'm block solid muscle. But the BMI says if you're this tall, you should weigh about this much. If you're this tall, you should weigh about that much. Well, when you have more muscle, you may weigh more than what the scale should say a person your height should weigh. And so your numbers may come back skewed, saying that you're overweight. The idea behind the BMI is a good idea because it gives you a starting point. And as you all worked out, you were able to look at your goals and look at where you wanted to be, and you were able to see, am I reaching those goals? My first mile test was 12 minutes. I had to take it again several weeks later. My next mile test was 11 minutes and 18 seconds. You improved. What made you improve? You improved because of your workout program that you were doing. You did cardio 4 times a week. You ran, you walked the dog, you play on a sports team. These things allowed you to build up your cardiorespiratory endurance, which allowed you to run your mile at a faster pace. Nutrition plays right along with your BMI. If you want to change your body, there's a healthy way to do it and an unhealthy way. Cutting out fat totally from your diet wouldn't be smart. In fact, that was one of your DBA questions. If you had a best friend who told you they wanted to lose weight and they were going to totally eliminate fat from their diet, would that be a good idea? You said no. I asked you why. You said because fats are essential. Some fat is essential. Essential means it's needed, it's important. Fats carry vitamins through your blood. Fats help to cushion your internal organs. It helps to regulate body temperature. It flavors your food. Now here's the problem with fat. Just like it is with carbs and just like it is with protein. A lot of times we eat too much of it. And a lot of times we eat the wrong kind. All right? The two types of fats again were the saturated and unsaturated healthier fat. That's the fats you want to stick with. You get fat from nuts, from avocado. Those are the healthy fats. You don't want to eat all of the fat that comes from the unhealthy fats. You want to try to avoid those as much as you can because eventually those will clog your arteries, which makes it hard for you to breathe, which could lead to your heart stopping, and then you would have a heart attack. We don't want that. We want you to be healthy. So eating better. And the fad diet is not going to work for you because it's not something you can do forever. If you want to be successful and lose weight properly, there's 2 things you told me you can do. 1, eat a well-balanced diet. You learned about the myplate.gov website. You learned about what goes on your plate, how much fruit, how much vegetables, how much dairy, how much protein or meats, how much grain. You learn those. Well, it used to be the food pyramid. Now we have the My Plate. They've changed it. They've revamped it. They've made it more appealing. But when you find out what should be on your plate and then you look at your own personal plate, you can gauge, am I doing a better job of eating healthy? Because if you truly want to lose fat and you start to exercise and you start to eat better, a well-balanced diet, you're going to see results. You're going to see great results. But you're not going to see any results if you're trying to do fad diets. You're going to do what they call weight cycling. You're going to lose weight fast, and then you're going to gain it back, but you're going to gain more than you lost, and then you're going to try to lose weight fast again. You didn't put the weight on overnight. Don't expect to take it off overnight. Be diligent, be committed, be dedicated to your plan, and work your plan. baby steps, small steps, and look at yourself 9 weeks from now and see the results, and then 9 weeks after that and see the results. And you will be pleased if you can make baby steps, which is lifestyle choices that you can stick with. Because a lot of people can go get surgery and lose all of the fat quickly. But if they don't make lifestyle changes, they're going to put the weight right back on. And then one of the other things you can do to be as healthy as possible is get your rest. A lot of times people don't think about that, but rest is vital to being a successfully healthy person. You got to get your rest. Okay? Now, moving on, we move then to community wellness. Awesome module. This module talks about community. What we learn about community is that community is not just necessarily your neighborhood. We're part of different communities, vast different communities. We have a school community, home community. We have a church community. We're parts of different communities. And it's up to you and I to make our community the best place it can be. Okay? You told me about different things that you researched. You talked about peer pressure. You talked about drugs and alcohol and teen pregnancy and drinking and driving and abstinence and sex education. And you talked about all of these different concepts that you have to deal with in your communities. Eye-opening experience, wonderful experience. Thank you for giving me that experience. I loved your surveys. I loved your projects. I loved what you gained from this valuable module. We learned about STIs, sexually transmitted infections. We learned about STDs, sexually transmitted disease. Some things you can cure, and some things you got to keep. So with me saying that, what I'm saying is if you're going to engage in risky behavior, please be wise with your decisions. Please be smart, because it only takes one time to change your life forever. Be smart. Be smart. Make wise choices. We talked about some of the long-term health effects of STIs and STDs. You told me things such as, obviously, death. You told me about other diseases that can be brought on, such as cancers. You told me about how my immune system may start to fail. You told me about my social life may diminish because of these issues in my life. See, these are some of the problems that come with engaging in these behaviors and then contracting these infections or these diseases. I asked you, why are they so hard to detect, to treat, to prevent? You told me that they're so hard to detect, treat, and prevent because sometimes the symptoms don't show up. Sometimes they do show up, but it's months after you've had it in your body and you've spread it about because you didn't know you had it. All right? My concept, my idea on this concept is this. If we're brave enough to engage in the behavior, we need to be brave enough to get tested to make sure that we're not transmitting this infection to others. It's not fair for us to be afraid and scared to go to the doctor and find out, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, you do have an infection. Here's some pills to cure it, hopefully, or here's some pills to treat it. Now, what's the difference between a cure and a treatment? A cure means it can wipe it out from your body and you don't have it anymore. A treatment might be, I can deal with the symptoms. This will help the rash go away a little faster, but it's coming back. It's coming back. It's going to lay dormant in your body. It's going to sleep in your body, and then it's going to flare itself up again. For instance, herpes. Herpes is a disease that there's no cure for it. HIV and AIDS is a disease, a virus, there's no cure for. So when you make those decisions, you've got to think, do I want to engage in this behavior, or do I want to abstain and make sure I don't have to deal with these problems? One of your questions on your DBA was, tell me 2 benefits of remaining abstinent. 2. All I wanted was 2. Of course, most of you gave me more than 2, but give 2. And most of you said teenage pregnancy is not an issue anymore. And you don't have to worry about the STDs and STIs. 2 great answers. Teen pregnancy is not the end of the world, but it does shake up your world. An STI and an STD could be the end of your world. All right? So something to think about is abstinence could be, let me rephrase that. Abstinence is the only choice you can make that is 100% that you won't get pregnant and 100% that you won't get a disease. There's a lot of methods of contraception, but none of them are 100%. The best contraception is to not do it. All right? After that, we move further to the muscular fitness and flexibility unit. Now, I am really in love with this unit, this module, because I want to know how to transform this body. I want to know what it's going to take for me to look like I did when I was 19 again. All right? That's never going to happen, but you can have a wishful thinking, right? So, in this module, you learn things such as the FIT principle. F, fit. F, frequency. I, intensity. T, time. Frequency, intensity, time. Frequency is how often you work out. I work out 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I, intensity. How hard do you push yourself in your workout? Because if you don't push yourself hard enough, you're really not going to get the benefits of your workout. I push myself at about 75 to 80% of my maximum ability. Okay? T is for time. How long do you work out? I work out for about 45 minutes to an hour each time I work out. Frequency, intensity, and time. Then we learn some of the principles of exercise. You learn about progression. We learn how to gradually build up our exercises so that we can start to see gains in our fitness levels. All right? Maybe you start off with 5 pounds and that's all you can lift is 5. But next week I move up to 7. And the week after that I move up to 10. And before I know it, I'm lifting the 20 pounds that was my goal. But if all you lift is 5 and you stay at 5, you're never going to ever reach your goal. You've got to progress. Then we had overload. Overload means to put more on yourself than what you think you can handle. Now, obviously, you can't do that for an extended period of time because it would cause injury. But maybe you do 1 more rep than you thought you could. Maybe you do 1 more lap than you thought you could. You overload. You push yourself a little harder. Now, a nugget of wisdom for life. You're capable of so much more than what you think you are. But you got to be willing to push just a little bit harder than you normally push. And if you do that, you'll start to see gains. And when you see gains, you feel good. And when you feel good, you keep doing it. And then you have specificity. Specificity, specificity, you choose specific exercises to help you build that area. For instance, if I wanted to sculpt the biceps, all right, I wouldn't do squats to build up my arms. That would be foolish because squats build up my legs, my back, my glutes. But if I want to build my biceps, I would pick an activity, an exercise such as bicep curls that is going to concentrate on that area. If I wanted to build my cardiorespiratory endurance, I wouldn't lift weights for that. I would run, ski, ride bikes, play a sport that requires a lot of running. I'd swim. I'd do something that makes my heart rate elevate for an extended period of time, because your heart too is a muscle. And if you build your heart up, you build your heart to get stronger and stronger, you're going to be able to improve your cardiorespiratory endurance. You learned about target heart range. You got to find out where your heartbeat should be for maximum cardiorespiratory endurance. All right? If you're only pushing yourself on the treadmill, if you're walking on speed 2, You can't expect to get great results. You're not going to see the fruit of your labor. You got to push yourself to where your heart rate is in the range of your target heart range. And when you're done, after an extended period of working out, you'll start to see gains in your ability. You can run longer, you can run faster, your breathing is not as labored. These things take place because you're seeing growth in your cardiorespiratory endurance. So frequency, intensity, and time, progression, overload, specificity. These are some of the concepts you learned with muscular fitness and flexibility. Stretching is very important. We'll finish with this. We'll end with this. Stretching is something that is very important, but a lot of times we overlook it. All right. If you were to poll and ask a lot of older people who are in very, very good shape, what is one of the secrets of their success in being fit? A lot of them will tell you they stretch. Their flexibility. They don't have as much back pain and knee pain because they spend a lot of time stretching and making sure that those joints are loose and that they're ready for the workout. So for all my young people, we need to make sure we start stretching. Make it a habit now. So when you get older, it's just what you do. And you will be just as healthy as they are. This is Coach Cody. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this benefits you for your final exam.